So what you're looking at there is my solar power Meshtastic node about 70 feet up in a tree. My line that I shot does go up and over the top of the tree, but it won't go any higher than that. Weather's been kind of hot, but I also have a tag line coming off the bottom to help pull it down when you go to lower it. So I may try to pull the tag line away to the right and see if I can get up a little farther, but it's working fine. I've been kind of experimenting with this. This is my Heltec V3 that I printed the case for. I enlarged the case to accommodate the GPS. The screen is just doing that because of the refresh. I think it's, what is it, the refresh rate or something on the camera. But anyways, if this kind of applies to people that live in rural areas. If you live in an urban area, you probably could get away with one of these, but where I live in a very rural area, what happens is that this only puts out 1/4 of a watt. So doesn't the node in the tree. But, you know, 75 feet up on an 8 dB, honest to God, fiberglass stick, you know, a base station antenna, is going to get out a lot better than one of these. So, my phone Bluetooths to this, and you can, as long as you're within Bluetooth range, it'll still, you know, relay and receive messages if your phone's not connected. But this allows me, I can clip this onto my belt. It's got a nice belt clip I printed for it. It can also sit down on a table and put the antenna like that. But anyways, you know, you can clip this on your belt, walk around the yard, and this gets me onto the local mesh network, which there are a few of us. So to have any success with something like this, you're going to have to get some sort of solar self-contained node that you can get up high. You know, I have this tower, but as you can see, it's got other things on it, and I didn't want to do that. And then can you see it from here? The other tower on the other end of the property, yeah, the trees are blocking it. But anyways, you guys have seen it in my other videos. I just decided to go that route, but what I would suggest is if you can get something up high like that in a rural area, that'll get you into the larger mesh network. You know, if you had a couple of these, you could use them at a concert, a festival, a fair, a family outing, where cellular connectivity is not that great, or the connections aren't that great. You know, a few of these in a small area would work great, but to be able to communicate over a larger area, you're definitely going to need something like that. So what ends up happening is that sits up there. I'm not going to go into all the terminology, but there's different classifications for your nodes. I have them both set as a client. So basically, whatever it can hear, it will relay to other nodes in the area to get your message out. So when this sends out a message, it goes up to that, and it gets me out into a larger network. I'm communicating with stations. I'd have to look, but I'm communicating with stations about 10 to 15 miles away, which is pretty impressive at 900 megahertz, for a couple of 1/4 watt radios. The one that's up there is a rack wireless whiz block. This one's a Heltec V3. So far, like I said, I'm very impressed with it. I have encryption. You don't need any special cables and key loaders or expensive licenses. USB cable, Bluetooth connection, simple to operate. You can use QR codes. So say you got with a couple people that aren't radio people, and you're at a campground, and everyone, I can't point to it, but everyone knows how to use a cell phone. You Bluetooth them, you hand a few of these puppies out, you Bluetooth them in, you get the app up on their phone, you set the QR code on your phone, and you program all their phones. Now, anyone that's been in the radio business or the radio world for any period of time knows what a pain in the ass it is. Programming cables, laptops, software, then, how many different types of radios do you have? So
And then people that aren't radio people, that don't understand how to use radios, you can set them up with this. They all know how to operate a phone. The app looks very much like any other type of messenger app. You just tell them, hey, keep this somewhere within Bluetooth range, and they can use their phone to communicate with you. And it's hard to see on this because of this flicker on the screen, but it also gives you direction and distance on here, which you also get in the app. But anyways, so I've been evaluating Meshtastic, and license free. You know, you're not gonna blow the world away with a quarter-watt radio. So you know, but the radio itself is like $30. I printed the case myself. I think you can buy these turnkey on Amazon with a generic case and an antenna for like $50. So pretty cheap. If you wanted to get like a half dozen of these, they're light years better than a Bofang, in my opinion, for the capabilities that they have. And they're probably going to satisfy most people's needs. So anyways, I'm going to wrap up the video with that. Thanks. And thanks for watching. Radio Man out.